The methionine sulfoxide to methionine ratio is an index of oxidative stress, and that's what we'll see here. So starting with the amino acid methionine, in the presence of reactive oxygen species, and more specifically H2O2 or hydrogen peroxide, methionine sulfur atom is oxidized to form methionine sulfoxide. So the methionine sulfoxide to methionine ratio is an index of oxidative stress. Now, the importance of this ratio is illustrated by the finding that it's associated with biological age, at least in my data, which is what we'll see here. So on the y-axis, we've got Dr. Morgan Levine's biological age calculator, PhenoAge, and this is plotted against the methionine sulfoxide to methionine ratio. And to track levels of these two metabolites, I've been using at-home metabolomics with Iolo's kit, which besides these two metabolites includes more than 600 others. So if you want to track these and the other metabolites, discount link in the video's description. All right, so this is 10 tests over the past 2 years. And then we can see a significant positive correlation between biological age and a higher methionine sulfoxide to methionine ratio. In other words, when this ratio is relatively high, that's significantly correlated with an older biological age, as the correlation coefficient is 0.79. Anything greater than 0.7 is considered a strong correlation, and we can see that the p-value is less than 0.05 at 0.006. Now, I have more than 10 tests, so with that in mind, how well am I resisting age-related changes in this ratio as an index of oxidative stress, especially when considering that oxidative stress is a hallmark of aging or mitochondrial dysfunction? So what's my data? So now we're going to take a look at the methionine sulfoxide to methionine ratio over 15 tests from 2023 to 2025. So over 5 tests in 2023, the average ratio was 0.06. Over 9 tests in 2024, it was 0.07. So just looking at those two groups of data, it looks like it's moving in the wrong direction. And clearly that the trend would be going in the wrong direction. But we can compare these two groups of data statistically using a 2-sample t-test. And when I do that, when comparing 2023 versus 2024 data, these two groups of data are not significantly different. As you can see, the p-value is greater than 0.05 at 0.32. Now, there may be good news to this story if 2024 data is indeed moving in the wrong direction, regardless of what the stats say. And that's with the first blood test in 2025. We can see that this ratio, methionine sulfoxide to methionine, is on the lower side of my range. So we'll have to see how that plays out in 2025. Now, in terms of what's optimal for this ratio, when considering that oxidative stress increases during aging, at a minimum, I think avoiding an age-related increase. Now, where that number should it be 0.04 consistently, 0.08? The lower end of one's range, and avoiding changes year to year for an increase in this ratio. Now note that this isn't the only ratio that can be used to evaluate oxidative stress with metabolomics. There are others, including cysteine divided by cysteine and xanthine divided by hypoxanthine. And I'll likely cover those in upcoming videos. If you've ever wondered what's optimal for biomarkers rather than what you get from the reference ranges on a lab report, I have a new Patreon tier dedicated just to that. It includes data for these 29 biomarkers for how they change during aging and how they're associated with risk of death for all causes using 45 published references. So for now, there's at least 2 hours of content, video content in this tier. So if you're interested in that, check it out. If you're interested in more of my attempts to biohack aging, I post at least twice a day in these 5 Patreon tiers. And we have discount and affiliate links that you can use to test yourself that help support the channel, including ultralabtest.com, which is where I get the majority of my blood tests done, aside from the metabolomics, the clearly filtered water filter, which I use every day, at-home metabolomics, as we saw in the video, oral microbiome composition, and I'm working on still fixing that Serratia marquescens problem that I've had with my oral microbiome, so problem not solved there, but working on it. NAD testing with Ginfinity, epigenetic testing, at-home blood testing with Cyflox Health, which includes the DNA methylation test GrimAge, which I'll cover in an upcoming video, green tea, diet tracking with Chronometer, or if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that with the website, Buy Me a Coffee. We've also got merch, so if you're interested in wearing the ConquerAging or diet tracking brand, as I've got on here, and note that this shirt isn't what you see on the slide in front of you. I opened up a new store, and the store hasn't yet linked with YouTube, so if you're interested in checking out this t-shirt, just leave a comment and I'll direct you to the store. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.